possibly good evening. Whether this is your first PCS or your 10th, we know that one thing is for sure, we don't have the answers to everything. As always, we work hard to bring you the best information, because apparently today Sasha cannot talk, and resources to help you. And that's why we're talking about life insurance. So today I have the honor of being joined by Ryan Hutchinson from Navy Mutual. Ryan, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join me today. Can everybody say hello to Gabriella from the back end? She's hiding
Hello,
from my.
Gabriella. Hello, everybody.
So, hello to Gabriella and everybody joining us. If you're tuning in, make sure you drop an emoji, say hi, let us know where you're coming in from. And if you have questions, ask them down below. So, Ryan, thank you for joining again. I'm super excited
Always.
today. How are you? And can you talk to us about yourself and Navy Mutual?
Yeah. So thanks for having Navy Mutual myself. It's always a pleasure to chat with everybody and kind of just help people with the questions that may not know about. Right? You don't know what you don't know until you know. You know.
Absolutely. Every time I
So
get on live with you, you teach me something new.
there you go. Well, hopefully that'll happen today too, and I'll make sure I mess up as well.
Okay.
My words and whatnot. So. Navy Mutual is a nonprofit veteran service organization that was congressionally chartered by an act of Congress in 1879 to provide low cost life insurance with no exclusions for military families, with no commissions, fees, or fine print. So we are a federally recognized veteran service organization that's been around since 1879, and we've been doing this for military families ever since. We work with all branches. We don't discriminate, and you have to be military to get us, but not to maintain us. So as you separate, obviously you'll be able to maintain us. My role here at Navy Mutual is a counselor, so I do help people with their needs, and that's why you're gonna come down here with the kids one day and
Yes.
say hi and
Yes.
go through the process. Here at Joint Base Henderson Hall, Fort Myer in Arlington, we are right here on the Pentagon Reservation, so we're very familiar with the military life. And my role as a new member specialist is just to make sure that there's a face out there that can speak intelligently, not only in the financial planning and life insurance arena, but the military scope as well. So you guys can have somebody out there that does know a lot about what you guys are going through. So I am very happy to be here as always.
Yes, we love it. So let's kick it off. What types of life insurance do you offer, and how early is it to start looking?
Yeah, so this is a great question. There are two main forms of life insurance if we're talking about life insurance 101. You have temporary coverage called term. That's the most popular. It's your SGLI, it's through your work, right? Those are your term life insurance policies. Those are designed to take you from point A to point B in your life. We call it a time horizon. So the idea is eventually the kids are gone, eventually, right?
Eventually.
House is paid off eventually.
Excellent.
You're on a fixed income because you're at a point where you're self-insured and you don't necessarily need as much coverage because you got more money in the bank
Yes.
and less liabilities. So those are typically policies that are called term life insurance. There's no cash value or bells or whistles. It's just coverage and death benefit. And if something happens between that time, it's paid out tax free. So that is your term life insurance. Very popular because it's very affordable. You can get a lot of coverage for a little money. But remember, insurance companies have billions of dollars for a reason. And the reason they do is most people outlive that. But that's okay, right? You're not getting a term policy because you want to die. You're getting a term policy because you want to live and you just want to make sure if something happens prematurely, the family and your loved ones are protected. And then you have whole life. Whole life is one of those mixed bags where it's like buying a car. There's a million different types and variables involved. So it can get very intimidating when you're evaluating a whole life policy. But pure and simple, life insurance 101, whole life is designed to last forever. Term, temporary, whole life, forever. So the idea here is, and the reason why affluent families have been using them for generations is generational transfer of wealth. You're taking a little bit of money and turning it into tax-free money upon your passing. So no matter if that was 30 years from now, 50 years from now, 80 years from now. So that being said, theoretically, you can get a policy as young as 6 months old to lock in the price really young to have that growth in the whole life, or as old as 80. So there is a lot of different scenarios where I guess too young would be under 6 months and too old would be over 80.
Okay.
Uh, so there's a lot of little wiggle room, and the key is, and what Navy Mutual does really 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 well is we get to know what your needs are to kind of talk about some things that might make sense for you, not put you in a box and say, okay, you need this or you need that. It's really a very custom consultative kind of conversation because we're all salaried employees. So it's not like, I have to worry about selling something to get paid.
Okay.
So that
Okay.
will give you the gist between term and whole life. And
Yes.
you're never too young unless you're under 6 months old.
Good to know. See? Something new. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
So, what if I already have life insurance through my employer or SGLI? Do I need more?
So typically, depending on your family dynamic, this is where there's a lot of variables involved. But normally, yes. If you have a kid in the house, all of a sudden that 500,000 is eaten up pretty quick. Now, the cool thing is they did increase it from 400 to 500. I believe that was this March. So you are having a little bit more coverage with your SGLI, but you got to remember it's a temporary product that's designed to go away once you transition out of the military. So that's the same with a work policy. It's not always necessarily one enough or two. It doesn't trans with you to your next phase of life, and it can be pretty expensive. But putting cost aside, just the simple reasons you would. So if you look at the human value approach of life insurance, which is an easy way to kind of illustrate the financial loss to the family, if you take your income and then multiply by the years you have left working and then subtract any assets, that is theoretically the financial loss of you. So, 10 to 20 times your income is not 500,000 for a lot of the military families out there. It's better than nothing, but
Yes.
theoretically, there's with the time value of money and inflation, there is probably a pretty easy conversation to why you might need more. And
Yes.
then more importantly, more that would transition with you beyond service. So, we, when we're young, we're going to live forever. And when we start having some responsibilities, we don't have the money to get what we need. So, younger the better. Get what you can. Some thousands are better than no thousands.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Next question. Will Navy Mutual, and you did touch on this already, but
I was waiting
will,
for it because I wanted to elaborate. So that's why it was a
yes.
little foreshadowing.
Yes. So, will Navy Mutual still cover us after retirement, or do we still have to be active duty?
So a couple things here. We usually advise for you to get coverage before you transition out of the military. A lot of times when you transition out of the military, you're going through a VA claims process. Not only can we help with that, but if you get something now, it doesn't matter what you're diagnosed with in the future. So that's number one. So I would start the process before you transition out. But if you didn't, it's not the end of the world. We
Okay.
insure a lot of retired and separated veterans. So if you get out, yes, if you're retired anywhere in the world, I talk to people that just decided to go back to Guam or the Philippines, or
Yeah.
maybe they just stayed in Europe. So we can insure you anywhere in the world if you're retired. And separated veteran is a case by case. But if you separate, we even have a convertibility options for your SGLI that require no medical. So it would be really, really good idea, even if you're not ready to pull the trigger, just to talk to us about your options. So that way you know what you don't know. So now you know.
Yes, always. Sorry, I'm gonna move this. I've got a sad toddler.
Oh, okay. All right. So
Sad.
yes, we can insure you if you're already out. Definitely plan properly and feel free to give us a call for options, even if you're not ready. So that way you're a little bit more equipped with some information to make those educated decisions as you're transitioning.
Okay. Sorry.
Sure.
Always. Never a dull day.
No, no, Paw Patrol didn't work.
Yes, Paw Patrol's not working today. Neither was Bluey, neither was Sesame Street, so we're just rolling with it.
There you go.
Next question, and this actually came from one of our very own. So, if
Sweet.
your spouse is deploying to a combat zone soon, can we still get initial coverage?
Yeah, so I held off on a lot of this because again, I knew this was coming and I didn't want to included with the other conversations. Navy Mutual was established in 1879, so you have somewhere to go and trust that there are zero exclusions, zero fine print, and closest to net cost. So not only are we gonna not charge you more because you're going to a combat zone or whatever your MOS is or whatever your job is, but we're also not going to exclude it from the policy. So Navy Mutual from day one gives you coverage. Even if we know you're deploying. Even if I can hear the plane in the background and you're about to get on it, there's ways to get coverage because we were established to serve military families, not market to them. So our whole existence is to be there so you can get that coverage that you need where other companies might not cover you just because you're doing your job. So if you're already deployed, about to deploy, we could still talk to you and probably find a way to get you insured. So definitely that is what we do. It doesn't matter if you're an aviator, bomb tech, special ops, flying a desk or flying a plane, a tank. It doesn't matter, any branch. So definitely wanna make sure. We even insure astronauts. So
Nice.
yeah. So it's important to understand that when we say no exclusions or fine print, that is our mission to make sure that your spouse, your kids, your beneficiaries can call us up and know that it's going to pay out no matter what that is.
See, now I want to know where has someone been that you could hear their background that you were able to get them life insurance? What is the craziest one? Because you did say
Um,
astronaut, so now I'm
so I
intrigued.
mean, it's not like they're calling me and I hear shots in the background, so
Yeah,
that's good, I guess, because
I
I
would.
would just be like, keep your head down. I don't know if you have your credit card number on you, but
Maybe they're
um,
listening and they know it
cra-
by heart.
the craziest one is probably literally just he was with the squad and he was like, hey, they say you guys do this and we're about to deploy, and I just heard the plane. They were on the tarmac. He was about to go over to the sandbox or wherever he was going. I don't know if I remember exactly where he could tell me, but yeah, I mean that's probably as crazy as I get on the phone. But I'm sure that there's a lot more
Yeah.
crazy stories with people that already have our coverage, because again, we're not gonna worry about it. We ask about foreign travel, and our answer on that is normal deployment. Underwriters just check the box and move on. So
Okay.
it's that simple for active duty military for sure. Does not matter. But I'm glad you asked that because that is one of those things where there's a lot of misinformation out there that this is excluded or there's limits on this and that. And that is true for a lot of the commercial insurers. But we are a federally recognized veteran service organization that sells its own insurance. So we're member owned. Flag officers and a lot of higher ranking officers and retired officers as our board, and our members are the owners of Navy Mutual.
Okay. Good to know. I am in the middle of a PCS. How
hmm
can Navy Mutual help?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this one. This is a tricky one because I'm not going to come over and pack your box for you,
I
right?
mean,
So
you're more
that
than
would be
welcome.
that would be cool. But I was a mover through high school and college. But
Good enough.
um, so I was just trying to think about my move. So when I moved, I took a lot of the special documents that I have that I didn't want to have to worry about getting lost or destroyed or whatever. And we have a vault for our members that's free of charge. This isn't like, you know what I mean? You have to pay for it. And we're on base, so it's protected by Marines, I guess, in a sense, since we're on Henderson Hall. So there's a document storage safe that's part of membership for free that will FedEx you your passport, birth certificate, whatever title, whatever you have with us overnight anywhere in the world as part of your membership. And you don't pay extra for it. You literally just have coverage protecting your family. And this is a benefit of Navy Mutual. It's just part of our services. We also have other partnerships with, pods, the company that, you get a discount through us and things like that. But for the most part, I would say document storage is probably the big one, and just maybe like a peace of mind that you're protected, that if something happens on that move, I guess you're going to be good to go. And then the other thing is, maybe you have a whole life policy with us and you need a little cash to pay a mover, or I guess you wouldn't pay a mover for a PCS, or a little cash for this, that, or the other thing. You could always tap into your life insurance to get some cash, and you're essentially borrowing from yourself. So there's a couple things, but the main thing I would say is the document storage and the partnership we have with Pods would probably be the two biggest things.
Okay. I mean, you had me at storage because I am the person that has all of my stuff in one folder. So
Mm,
birth certificates, social security cards, passports, and the instant stomach drop, like my heart, bottom of the body, happened a couple weeks ago because I could not find it at all.
mm,
And I was like, if I do fly to Florida, what am I going to do? Because I have
Right.
nothing. I have nothing. My stuff is gone.
So
So
you
that
would
was
just send that to us, and we would
yeah.
literally put your name and inventory it for you, send you a copy of the inventory, and then you call us up whenever you want. And then next day it's in a FedEx waiting for you. So you always know where it's at. It's safe, it's flood proof, fireproof, all that good stuff. I mean, when I say vault too, I mean, we don't have like family jewels or you know what I mean? Like, Google year one stock certificate in there or anything. It's just, people's sentimental and administrative stuff, and it's a big old metal door vault.
I was gonna say
So
you said vault, and I thought of I'm a Harry Potter fan, so I thought
mm.
Gringotts, and I'm like, oh my goodness, I know. So like,
So yeah, it might be a little more modern than that and less magical, but it's functional for sure.
yeah,
And our
partial.
beneficiary services and the people that handle that kind of arena for us are not trolls, so that's good. You know,
I'm partial. They get it done,
they're mean though. Those trolls are
but
mean,
sometimes you have to be. Maybe I
right?
don't know.
Right.
You're protecting a lot of people's stuff.
It's
Um,
true.
so during our last live, we spoke about getting life insurance for everyone in our family, and we didn't
Yeah.
get to touch on it. I kind of like woohooed over it, so I wanted to bring it back. Is the process different when we are, when and if we're applying for our children or for extended family members?
So the eligibility goes this way: service member, spouse, kids under 26. So eligible extended family, they would have to be eligible on their own,
Okay.
essentially. The process is not different. It's just a simple application and needs analysis with a professional counselor. The main difference between, like, say, a child is we're not going to do a health screening on a child, but that's kind of misleading because we're not necessarily going to do a health screening on a 40-year-old either or 20-year-old that's getting coverage. So it really just depends on what you're doing. So theoretically, the process could be the same, or there might be an added health screening for an adult. Because you got some stuff going on, and we just make sure that the labs are okay, that kind of thing, checks and balances.
Okay.
Um, but the need is still there. A lot of people don't realize, stay-at-home spouses, how much it would cost to replace everything that you do would probably be over 60 grand a year, and trying to replace all that stuff definitely puts a financial strain on the survivor. And I know this because we did a Facebook Live ourselves on it, that half of military spouses are stay-at-home spouses.
Yes.
I had no idea it was that high, and that was kind of like a wow, kind of moment that the 100,000 family SGLI didn't go up, the service member went up.
Yes.
So we do have a lot of members that, if they're not ready to get the coverage on themselves to increase the 500, sometimes they call in and just get the spouse to start,
Mhm.
because that's okay. It's not like we're gonna be like, no, 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 we're not gonna protect your spouse because you didn't get a policy. So keep in
Okay.
mind that we're here to help the family, whatever that means, to the best of our ability. But yeah, so I would say that the process isn't that different. The kids, 99.99999% of the time, don't require a medical. And if they do require a medical, they're adults, children, right? And the worst that we're going to do is just get some records. If you have somebody that might be a needs child or a child that has some issues that we need to make sure are under control. But it doesn't mean they're, one, not eligible, or two, that we're going to start drawing blood and poking and prodding a 5-year-old because of a stomach bug, right?
Yeah.
So,
Stomach bugs. They're the worst.
and then I am excited that, and the reason why I was like, it's kind of a trick question. We've done a lot of work to make sure that it's a simple, easy process. So we've done a lot of work to do what's called accelerated underwriting. So that way it's just questions without a medical. If you're fit for active duty, or you just got out and you're young and you don't have a lot of stuff going on, yeah, it's going to cost us more money to process it than it would just to take the risk. So we do have a lot of options for people under 50, where there is no medical required up to a certain amount of coverage, which is awesome because we put a lot of time and effort and work into doing that, because we know military families are as busy as any other family, if not more.
I was gonna say, how many lives have we done where I've said I'm gonna reach out, and that's why I'm
I
here
mean,
in Arlington.
I'm sure Gabriella should pop in and say at least what,
At least three.
5, 6.
I'm gonna
times.
say, give me at least 3. At least 3. I had one more question
Sure.
because I am going to come down and visit, and I am going to bring my brood. If I were to start up the application process, how long from start to finish does that take? I know
Um,
that we touched on it, but now it's in my brain and I have to say it.
so I mean, a lot of people are under the gun sometimes. I've been able to knock it out under 10 minutes if I needed to.
Mhm.
But they have all the information, right? They have their socials and driver's license numbers. They're not on any meds, right? I don't have to worry about like a lot of extra, right? They're already boom, 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 ready to go. But normally you could expect it to do it right. You should probably put aside 20 to 30 minutes because there's a lot of qualifying questions to go into it. We really want to understand that you're getting the right coverage. Get $1 million 30-year term just to get $1 million 30-year term doesn't make sense if you got, 15-year-old kids and $1 million in gold buried in the backyard. And you know what I mean? So we really want to make sure that we understand what you're doing and why you're doing it so you understand. And maybe there's a way to do what you're thinking you want to do more effective or efficiently.
Yeah.
Because again, Navy Mutual's not here to just take all your money. We're here to protect you. And yes, to transfer that risk to Navy Mutual costs money, but we only want the money that we need that makes sense. If that makes sense, the insurance people out there know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I
If
was
you
gonna say
don't,
this is going whoo, but that's okay. 'Cause
yeah, at the end of the day, it's about risk, and we want to make sure that we protect that risk, more money. But if we don't, if you have some assets and it doesn't necessarily make sense, then why spend $100 a month when you can get the protection you need for the time that you need it
Mhm.
for 70? You know what I mean? So that's
Absolutely.
that's the thought. Just make sure we understand, measure twice, and cut once.
That make I see now I need another I needed my notebook because I left it downstairs of the things that Ryan has said that just make sense.
Hmm.
That was one of them.
Well,
Well,
I mean, that's a good one. Grandfather taught
that
me well
was.
on that one.
You type it in somewhere so that
Marine carpenter, so
yeah,
he was all about measuring twice, cutting once.
love that. I love it. Well, thank you for joining me again. Everyone say bye to Gabriella before
Bye,
I
Gabriella, in the background. We'll get you
Yes.
on screen soon.
Yes. So as always, thank you. If you are joining us or joining us now, let us know. There is a QR code. I want to say it's above Ryan's head. And that is to get your own quote. So, yep, right there. You just scan it with your phone. If you're watching us later and you're on your computer or on a different device, you can go ahead. We will add that to the comments. This is for your viewing pleasure. So, watch it when you can, get all of your information, and reach out to Navy Mutual because they are here. And as you know, I always walk away knowing something new. And I appreciate it. I know that I have been saying this forever that I do need to go to Navy Mutual and get my life in order and get my
Yeah.
life insured. And so I am going to be able to do that very soon. And I'm going
And
to come down and visit with
and I think that's a great point. So we've been talking for months now,
months.
and we don't bug you. We don't reach out a million times. It's not like you're getting a million different texts or emails from other companies. So
No.
understand, Navy Mutual is built different. So
Yes.
this is not like putting your name in for the masses,
And then there's 800 emails, and
right?
Google tells you you're out of storage.
Yeah, and which never happened. You just said, yeah. And I was like, great, you got my info. When you're ready, you
Wonderful.
know where I'm at. Because
Yes.
that's what we're here to do.
Yes, always. I appreciate the not spamming. Very much so. I
That's
really
why I
do.
wanted to point that out. Because
Yes, because
that's,
he has you hit the nail on the head. I have been saying this for months. Probably since before the new year.
yeah.
And it is May. So, if you have more questions or are interested in receiving more information, feel free to check out Navy Mutual. I'm giving myself the giggles. And all of their incredible work and everything that they do for us as military families, veterans, and let them know that you've joined us live. And when you're ready to take the next step, you heard it from Ryan himself. He is there. I will attach all of that information in the comments below. And as always, thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Mill Housing Network family, for tuning in. And we will see you next time.
Stay safe out there. Oh, and happy Military Appreciation Month.
Yes, thank you.